Dominic Brazil wants to take on Andy Ruiz in his fight return after his KO loss to Deontay Wilder. Dominic Brazil wants to step up again after getting knocked out in spectacular fashion by Deontay Wilder. What has Dominic Brazil actually said? He said Andy Ruiz for sure. Andy Ruiz has made a big splash in the heavyweight game. We've exchanged in the ring a couple times as far as sparring. He knows what I've got. I know what he has. So it would be an exciting fight. And I think it's a fan favorite. He's a big brawler. I like to step in the ring and throw some leather to his face as well. So it would be a good one. Those are the words of Dominic Brazil. I think he said a few other statements down at the bottom here. Let me double check. I think before, let me get there. Yeah, here it is. He said me and Andy Ruiz would be a great show here on the West Coast. That's looking at probably California, and I've also been thrown opponents like Ortiz. At this point, I want to fight top opposition and give the fans what they want to see. I'm looking to be back in the ring late this May, early June. I'm excited to be back. I'm also excited to be back in the gym, working hard, moving to a future date. So those are all the words of Dominic Brazil. So Dominic Brazil is looking to come back in May, June. One thing he did say, let's part Andy Ruiz 1 second. He did actually say that he's actually been offered to fight Luis Ortiz. And I actually think that for Dominic Brazil to come back and get offered to fight Luis Ortiz and potentially fight Andy Ruiz, I think in terms of the opportunity, I think those are good fights for Dominic Brazil. Whether he wins them, that's another question. But to come back and fight potentially Luis Ortiz, where the boxing media and boxing fans can have a good comparison fight at the way, can compare how if he is to beat Luis Ortiz, we can compare how he dispatches of Luis Ortiz compared to how Deontay Wilder dispatched of Luis Ortiz. And I just suspect that he's going to be nowhere in as devastating fashion as if he did win, as Deontay Wilder's blitz right hand, out of the blue blitz right hand from Deontay Wilder on Luis Ortiz. And I suspect if Dominic Brazil does take on Luis Ortiz, I suspect that I think Luis Ortiz will knock him out, because Dominic Brazil is slow and Luis Ortiz is very crafty. Like the way I saw the way Luis Ortiz knocked out Ravjanko Janu. Luis Ortiz is very crafty. He can find that left hook and find that left shot with that left hand, and he can catch you and he can drop you. And we have seen that Dominic Brazil can get knocked down quite a few times. He was knocked down by Izuigono. Does Luis Ortiz hit harder than Izuigono? I suspect he does. Looking at the way Dominic Brazil got Deontay Wilder in trouble. The way he got Deontay Wilder in trouble, and the respect that Deontay Wilder put on Luis Ortiz in the rematch as to not wanting to engage with him so much, showed that Wilder knows that Luis Ortiz have power. So I just suspect that Luis Ortiz will knock Dominic Brazil out. And back to Andy Ruiz, I just look at the dynamics of Dominic Brazil, and for me, I just don't think Dominic Brazil beats Andy Ruiz. He's too slow. He's not going to beat Andy Ruiz to the punch, in my opinion. And Ruiz, I think he'll take it to him. He will get on the inside. He will take it to him, explode. Even if Dominic Brazil can get this guy in the clinches, Andy Ruiz has the ability to explode out of clinches. Even in the rematch with AJ, even though Andy Ruiz went in the greatest of shape, when he did get close to AJ, I think it was once or twice, he did explode out, and AJ just reverted back, saying, no, I'm not doing none of that. I'm going to go back to my boxing. Because AJ hit him with a few shots. He looked maybe easy there. Andy Ruiz just exploded a little bit. AJ said, nah, I'm going straight back to what I was planning to do. So I just feel like Andy Ruiz will beat him with a punch. He'll get to him. The hand speed will overwhelm Dominic Brazil. Because Dominic Brazil his hand speed is very slow. He's kind of, in terms of his hand speed, is very similar to, I think he's just a bit slower than Joe Joyce, because Joe Joyce hasn't got the quickest hands, but he's got the quickest feet. Dominic Brazil has slow feet and slow hands. But if he can catch you with a shot, he can put you in a bit of trouble, because he does have power. I'd like to say he has that big man power. So if he catches you on the chin, or with his best shot, he can probably put you to sleep. And another thing, despite Andy Ruiz's hand speed, is that Andy Ruiz has slow feet as well. So Dominic Brazil has slow feet. Andy Ruiz has slow feet. So only disadvantage for Dominic Brazil is that the hands ain't quick enough if he's really in range. In range with Andy Ruiz. I just feel like he'll get overwhelmed with some shots. And just like the way AJ wasn't able to deal with Andy Ruiz's hand speed, I believe AJ is more athletic than Dominic Brazil. And even with the athleticism, you saw the hand speed, the problems the hand speed caused Anthony Joshua. So what's to suggest that Dominic Brazil is going to be able to do any better dealing with the hand speed than Anthony Joshua was? I don't think Dominic Brazil is going to be able to beat Andy Ruiz, in my opinion. But it is heavyweight boxing. Anything can happen. But I just feel like the dynamics in terms of the styles, I just believe Andy Ruiz has an advantage over Dominic Brazil. So for me, Luis Ortiz knocks out Dominic Brazil. And Andy Ruiz, I feel like Andy Ruiz, I don't think he's gonna blitz out Dominic Brazil at that one shot like Deontay Wilder landed on Brazil. But I think it would be accumulated shots. I think he'll get to Dominic Brazil's chin. I don't know if Brazil will get flattened like he was against Deontay Wilder. I think I see him get stopped rather than dropped, because I've seen Brazil get up against Isugono, having getting dropped like how many times. And Andy Ruiz is not. I don't think he's got that knockout concussive power, but he's got that kind of that velocity on it where he can wing shots and just knock people out just with the speed of the shots and the accumulation of shots, rather than that one punch dynamic power. So if I see Andy Ruiz beating Dominic Brazil, if they are to fight, because Andy Ruiz said he's looking for, I think it's something going around, he's looking for a tune-up fight. Is Dominic Brazil the tune-up fight that Andy Ruiz would be looking for? Because it would be within PBC, so it would be not too difficult to make. And I think Andy Ruiz might be confident of beating Dominic Brazil, and Dominic Brazil will want to take the opportunity to take on the guy that beat Anthony Joshua. So yeah, it will be quite interesting to see what happens if Andy Ruiz takes on Dominic Brazil. I believe Andy Ruiz would win. I don't think Brazil will get stopped, like dropped, like flattened, like the way Wilder knocked him out. But I believe that he'll get stopped on the ropes. Because Andy Ruiz, even though AJ was really gone, he couldn't drop it, like he couldn't keep AJ on the ground. He couldn't keep AJ on the ground, and he couldn't keep AJ on the ground, and Dominic Brazil, apart from the Deontay Wilder knockout, he's known to be quite durable. Like against AJ, it took AJ like 7 or 8 rounds, I think it was 7 rounds to really stop him. Isugono dropped him a few times, dropped the Brazil a few times. He still managed to knock him out and stop him. And so Dominic Brazil is quite durable. I think if Andy Ruiz wins, he will stop him on the ropes, or the ref will jump in and stop the fight. I don't see Brazil get stopped in devastating fashion like he was on the ground against Deontay Wilder. But at the end, and it is heavyweight boxing, and Andy Ruiz hasn't got the quickest feet. So if somehow Dominic Brazil is able to let off his shot, his best shot against Andy Ruiz, would Andy Ruiz be knocked out? Remains to be seen, because I saw Andy Ruiz take a solid right hand against AJ in the Ruiz Joshua the first fight, and he took a solid right hand after being dropped by AJ, bounced off his chin, came back, dropped AJ. So I don't know does Brazil have more power than AJ? I don't think he does, in my opinion. He don't have more power than AJ, in my opinion. So can Brazil actually stop Andy Ruiz? I think he only knocks him out of a shot that maybe Ruiz doesn't see. But for me, Andy Ruiz beats Dominic Brazil. Drop your comments in the comment section below. What do you think about Dominic Brazil calling out Andy Ruiz, saying he wants to take him on in his return? Brazil's looking for I think he'll get a good payday out of it, because Andy Ruiz and his new, obviously he's always been Mexican, but more people know about Andy Ruiz now, so a lot of people will be keen to see what he does on his return. So it would be a good payday for Dominic, for both men, because you know how the Mexicans like to turn out for their fights, and they will buy the pay-per-view and they will buy the tickets and fill the arena. So drop your comments in the comment section below. Does Dominic Brazil have a shot at beating Andy Ruiz? What do you think about Brazil also potentially taking on Luis Ortiz after Ortiz's knockout to Deontay Wilder? And yeah, drop your comments in the comment section below. What do you think about Andy Ruiz potentially taking on Dominic Brazil? Cool. See you guys.